Hello and welcome to another episode of the Top Order podcast. You're listening to another instalment of our trip around the New Zealand provinces, and tonight we're joined by World Test Championship medalist and the captain of the Northern Braves Super Smash winning side in 2021-22, Jeet Raval. Jeet, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Stu. Nice to be on board.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Jeet. It's I'm keen to kind of bounce around a few different topics, but I guess firstly, I was going to ask you what you've been up to over the winter, because I've seen a bunch of guys from the domestic scene sort of going back to UK club cricket circuit now that the world has kind of opened up. But just chatting off air, you told me about the little one that's arrived in your life. So I guess winter's been a bit different than normal for you.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah. We had our first newborn in end of March, so couldn't quite time it right with the cricket season. But just a couple of weeks here and there, so we'll take it. So yeah, we got to spend the winter with the little one, and instead of being away in the summer, and being a helping hand to wife, early doors, which was needed. So it's been an awesome winter, and just a real cool journey, being having a little one to look after instead of you just worrying about yourself and that kind of stuff. But it's been awesome, and we've loved it so far. And yeah, he's a good little trooper.
Nice.
And yeah, so that kept us busy. And outside of that, I got an accounting job at a company called BDO. I've been in sort of working for them on and off for about 7-8 years now in winters, and got a really good relationship where they sort of let me come in over the winter months and do some accounting work, and keep taking that side of my career along, as it's also important part of your long-term well-being. So yeah, it was fairly quiet winter in terms of cricket things for me personally. So but a few gym sessions here and there as you do, but yeah, nothing drastic. So it was nice to put the feet up, and yeah, I actually didn't hit the ball for about 3-4 months, which was first time in 15 years that I hadn't done that. So it was a weird feeling, but nice to be definitely into it now and looking forward to another summer of cricket.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can speak from experience. The baby changes your life, but yeah, in lots of very good ways. So. In terms of the preseason, what's it been like for you guys at ND? Because you guys have had loads of players away with black caps. You guys have just had the NZA stuff. I see Tim Pringle's been away playing lots of cricket for the Netherlands. Have you guys actually kind of all been together at all, really, during the winter?
Yeah, I think this week was the first time we all got together. The final, Tim Pringle's still away in Australia, but yeah, we had a slightly trimmed contracted squad to begin with a few guys still being in UK and slowly filtering in, and a couple of the guys away on NZA tours. But at the same time, it gives the guys who are on the fringe an opportunity to come into the squad and be part of the preseason squad, which is always a good time, because you do a lot of fitness and you do a lot of group activities as a squad. So it's a good chance to kind of bring those young fellas in the squad and give them a taste of what it's like and how hard you should be working and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, it's been really good. Quite a few new boys have come in, and they've had a chance to train with us contracted guys, and learn from them, and also see what sort of professionalism is needed to step up at the next level. So all in all, I think it's been really good, and now it's nice to have the full squad back together. Although Tim's still away, but most of us are back together and roaring. And just another part of Indy is that because we are so sort of widespread, you don't see a lot of the guys for 4 or 5 months of the in the winter. So when you come together in September, Jesus, it's exciting. It's just like a lot to catch up on over the winter, and that kind of banter is awesome. So it's always exciting time, the preseason for us, and it's gone really well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, even thinking back to my days, I remember, sort of playing ND, and it seemed like because of, I guess they've had the benefit of having so many New Zealand contracted players, that so many players get to kind of be in that system because those New Zealand players are away, and it gives opportunities, like you said, to the other guys. So yeah, it must be really cool.
No, it is a really good setup, and we're blessed that even in the last week before Black Caps are playing this tri-series, Trent and Trent and Kane who live in Tauranga, they came and trained with us for 2 weeks, which was awesome. They needed a place to train and they wanted some bowlers to face, and they joined our squad, and it's almost like they were one of us, and just blended in like they were part of the squad. So that's the real benefit of having those guys around. The wider Black Cap squad, they always come back and give so much back to the team, and that's the real benefit of having them. Yeah.
Nice. And look, I know you guys have just played a warm-up game against Auckland. I have a reliable source that tells me that you looked in pretty good touch. Classy was the actual adjective they used to describe your knock.
Know. I hope Louis wasn't too nice. Yeah.
Wasn't Louis actually?
Look, it was,
but
wasn't?
No,
okay, yeah,
no.
Cool. I actually missed the full toss, and Louis had a little, go at me for losing my eyesight, and I said, it's our age that's catching up on us. But no, look, it was a good 3 days warm up against Auckland, and it was a really nice surface where most of the batters got to spend some time in the middle. It was hard work for the bowlers, I must say, because the surface was so good. But I guess in preseason, it's not a bad way to kind of get some almost under your belt for fast bowlers or the bowlers in general, and also the batters to actually spend some time, as opposed to getting nicked off first or second ball and worrying about what your game looks like. So it was quite nice to spend some time in the middle, and looking forward to getting stuck in next week again in the Plunket Shield. Yeah.
And I noticed Dutchie Colin de Grandholm in the lineup during the preseason game. Are you expecting to see much of him on the field? I know he's obviously signed up to the BBL. But yeah, he's planning to play for ND outside of those commitments, is he?
Yeah, I think they're still working through what that arrangement looks like. But Colin's been training with us right throughout the preseason, which has been awesome. And someone of Colin's experience, he just brings so much to the group on and off the field, more so off the field than on the field. But Colin's awesome, So I hope that he's available for us, and I think he is. It's just a matter of working through the contracting side of things with the higher up and to see what that looks like. But from the players' perspective, we would love to have Colin on board. He just brings so much to the team, and it's before he goes away to BBL. If he can get in a few games for us, it'll be awesome.
And look, before we look ahead to that upcoming season, let's take a little look back to last year. I'm guessing the Super Smash win must have been one, if not the highlight of the year for you guys. How did you enjoy captaining that side?
Yeah, it was a highlight, to be honest. And it was great fun captaining the side, and we got on a bit of a roll. And then in T20, when you have that momentum on your side, it can be fun. So it was great. But looking back and sort of reflecting on that, when we set out for the T20 campaign last year, we had no expectation of ourselves. I sort of got asked to captain sort of a few weeks beforehand, and it was sort of a bit of a last minute thing. And main focus for us was to grow as individuals and grow our games individually and see where that takes us at the end of the campaign. And that's all we tried to focus on. And along the way, a few things fell into place, and a few performances kind of came along the way really well, and we had some help from guys like Ish, Satner, and Trent and Tim, and all of them played their part during the campaign. So it was just an awesome campaign to be part of, and one that you'd say you don't get too far ahead of yourself and stay in the moment, and it actually worked for us. So hopefully we can try and replicate this year. Yeah.
And the Plunket Shield wise, the start of the tournament was disrupted by COVID. Then I think your final game was called off not long after you'd scored a double 100 and batted all day with Bharat Popley. How do you kind of look back at that campaign for ND?
Yeah, I think, again, there was some progress, and it's more the style of cricket we want to play, how we want to go about our cricket, and there was real progress. And you saw that with the guys getting NZA call-ups, Matthew Fisher, Joe Walker. Yeah. And then a couple of our games got rain affected. I think a game against Auckland got completely washed out. And then the last game we were down with COVID. So I think if you factor all those things in, I would say reasonably good season and some real progress. So I guess a lot for us to build on to from what we created last year and keep working on those things. And in domestic cricket, it's easy because every team's goal is to win 3 competitions. No team's going to say, "Oh, we just there to play." But I think it's also how do you break it down and what do you focus on, and those are the things that are important to us in each formats, and that's what we try to work on and try to sort of replicate day in day out. And if that leads to winning us some silverware, then we're obviously thrilled. But we just want to be better players and better individuals. Yeah.
Nice. And look, 2021, you mentioned silverware there. Obviously saw you also collect a World Test Championship winners medal. Obviously you weren't part of the final, but I mean, like, did you still feel quite connected to that victory? I know you went on the tour around the country, or at least, I spotted you at the Auckland one when I came and took my kids to see that, Mace.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? Like, obviously, yeah, I wasn't involved in the back end of that championship, but was lucky enough to be part of the first few games. And yeah, just such a privilege and honor to have been part of such a successful era for New Zealand cricket in the last sort of 6-7 years. And I was fortunate that again, the sort of culture and then the loyalty that was created within the Black Caps environment kind of reaped the rewards, and us getting that World Test Championship was a lot of years of hard work and a lot of years of investment into the players, and which paid off. And yeah, amazing for the country, amazing that we actually got something to show for now, and not just that runners-up thing in the 2019 thing, which was so close. But look, Black Caps is a wonderful environment, and the team has done tremendously well, as we all know, in the last 7-8 years. And the credit must go to the leadership group of senior players and also the management and how they bought into the Kiwi style of play and their backing of players and all that kind of stuff factored in. It's been awesome, and I was lucky that I was part of that campaign.
And I mean, how do you look back at your time with the Black Caps? I know you've talked quite openly in recent seasons about the challenges of kind of the way it ended, but I guess with a bit of space and time to reflect, like, is that time something you looked at with big pride, or is there still a sense of unfinished business? Yeah, how is it for you?
I would say a combination of both. The fire is still burning, to be honest.
Cool.
And obviously, when you watch the boys on telly and you see them do well, you want to be part of that setup, and you want to get that feeling back again. But again, I'm content with what I've given to the team, and I felt like I got a good opportunity, and I was backed by the players no matter what. And the time came when I sort of had a dip in the performance, and the stakes were really high with the tour to Australia. That Boxing Day Test had, sort of once in a last 25-year event. So there was a lot of hype about that. If it wasn't, then the situation could have been different, and I might have got an extended go at it. But there was something had to give at that time, especially after the loss in Perth. So I guess it was me. But I kind of accepted it, and I know that my performances leading into that weren't good enough. And also sort of reflecting on that, I've got a little bit tight. When you don't do well, you tense up and you kind of go away from the things that you do normally well. So having come back to domestic cricket last 2-3 years, that's what I've tried to focus on. I tried to play like I'm playing in a backyard, without the fear of failure, letting go and not holding on to things too tight. And that's when you tend to play your best cricket. And I've really enjoyed last couple of years with Northern Districts, and I felt like I've put on some good performances on board, and hopefully I can continue to do that and continue to sort of break the door down. And if the opportunity comes, I would love to give it a good crack again. Yeah.
And how tough is that, like, transitioning your game and trying to take that, like, trying to get your head clear? Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, even club cricket's my sort of my level, but that it was tough to do that even at club level.
Yeah, I guess it is tough, obviously, but then you have to come back to your why. Why do you play cricket? And it's all an enjoyment factor, and everything else kind of becomes secondary. Then you just play the game for what it is without getting too far ahead. And sometimes those things get in the way. The external pressures and other noises get along the way, and you kind of get blocked by it. So when you come back and you sit down and you realize what do I really want to do for next 5, 6 years? For me, it was about enjoyment of the game and, staying true to myself and playing the way that I want to play. So I know that when I lay my head on the pillow every night, I played the way Jeet wanted to play, and, I can be happy with that. So that's sort of the mantra that I go with these days, and I really enjoy it. So, yeah.
Nice, nice. And look, I guess there's been a lot of chat recently, in cricket circles, I guess mainly coming from England, about their domestic game and the setup of all of that. How well do you think that the New Zealand domestic setup here prepares players for international cricket? I feel like it's awesome that this NZA stuff has just started back up again. It felt like that was moving really in the right direction, and then a couple of years of COVID sort of hit that back. But yeah, I mean, how does, playing in the Plunket Shield and Super Smash and things kind of set you up for that next level?
I think Plunket Shield is very underrated, to be honest. It's a very high quality tournament, and I know we only play 8 games in a season, but those 8 games are quality games, and there's a lot of pride in that. And I know there's a lot of noise coming out of England about trimming their domestic, their county championship to actually increase the quality and the intensity of games. And I know Brendan is an advocate for that. And we've seen the players that have come through our domestic scene and gone on to be really successful in Test cricket or international cricket. And I think we have very, very 3 healthy competitions, and that a lot of countries around the world are starting to take notice of now, and especially Super Smash, that although we don't get big crowds, apparently there's close to about 20 million people that watch games, each Super Smash games around the world. So the reach is quite far, and you're seeing the guys are getting opportunities around the world in the different leagues. So we have very healthy competitions, and especially Plunket Shield, I would say it's one of the best in the world, and the quality of cricket is great. So hopefully we can keep sort of challenging that and keep moving our games forward to produce top cricketers for New Zealand.
Yeah, that's great to hear that. I was actually chatting to Dean Foxcroft yesterday, and he was saying that when he was back in South Africa, he was watching the Super Smash on TV back there. So yeah, it's like you say, it's obviously getting coverage around the world. And look, you and me have gone off on some good tangents here, but we should probably start looking ahead to the upcoming season. You've had a few changes to the squad. Ish moved to Canterbury. Brett Randall, who had an awesome year for you guys, I think, bit of an underrated year last year, moved to CD. That opened the door for a few guys, Christian Clark, Tim Pringle. Can you tell us a bit about a couple of those younger and unheralded guys in the squad that we should start keeping our eye on?
Absolutely. Obviously, Tim Pringle, we know that he's gone on to play for Netherlands over the winter and had done really well, and a fine left-arm orthodox spinner who can give it a good whack with the bat. And I think there's a huge future for him in the game in New Zealand, especially with offering the left-arm spin and being able to bat a bit as well. So, and he's a very young guy. He's only 20 or 21, and he's a bit of a drifter, but I'm sure he'll be all right. No, he's good, and he's getting to play in the T20 World Cup, which can only be good for his own experience. So he's definitely one to look out for. But this guy, Christian Clark, he is from a small town called Te Aomuru, and we call him the TA Stallion. He's absolute workhorse. Such a nice guy, but he's a true all-rounder in terms of he's a, I would say, seam bowling all-rounder. Presents the seam of the ball and seems to bowl both ways, which is ideal for New Zealand conditions. And he can bat a bit as well. So I think there's a big year for him, and I can see him sort of turning into a really good all-rounder in years to come, and be a helping hand for the Black Caps and even be a world-class player. So yeah, really, really good future for those two, I would say.
Cool, exciting times. We've also seen another young player that you mentioned him there at the top. I think Matt Fisher head to India with New Zealand A. I was trying to do my best to find footage of that series, but I could not find any coverage, which was a real shame. But he seemed to find some success over there at times on like pitches that I'm sure were not helpful for pace bowling at times. But I guess without heaping too much pressure on him, what kind of role do you expect him to play for you guys this season? And I guess he's been talked up as a speedster. How quick does he kind of compare with some of the other quicks around New Zealand?
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there with the likes of, Ben Sears, and he can get close to Lockie as well at times if he wants to when he clicks. So,
Wow.
he's definitely got something about him. But I think he's a very level-headed guy, and he knows that he's got the speed on his side, but he's actually quite clever in terms of he's trying to find a new control and trying to add skills to his own game, and he's not all about just bowling out and out pace, which is really good, and it will only accelerate his development further down the track. So he's definitely one to look out for, as you said. And I know he did quite well in the A series. He bowled with some good pace, and got some those Indian boys pushed him back a bit on the crease, and got nicked them off. So yeah, he had some success, and so people know around the trap who Matt Fisher is now. So last year was first year for him, which can be a bit easy at times. So now next year the challenge will be to actually see how he combats that, or how he kind of, the word I'm looking for is that how he bounces back from that sort of really good season last year. Yeah.
Nice. And has Joe Carter come back looking $1 million in the nets? He seemed to pile on those runs in those 4-day games.
Yeah, look, Joe is a wonderful player, isn't he? He just to go over there in those conditions first time and put up those runs just shows the quality of the player. And I think he's the next best we have in the country in terms of the batting stock.
Nice.
His temperament is unbelievable, and he's just a real workhorse, but he's got the game to suit any different conditions. And, so I hope that he continues his form and, hopefully gets where he should be, which is at the next level. If the opportunity comes, but wonderful, and I'm really stoked for what he did over in India, and it will do his confidence world of good. Yeah.
Oh, look, he's certainly put himself in the frame, and for that Pakistan tour, hopefully for his sake. And,
absolutely, yeah.
Look, we sort of like to also get a sense of what goes on in the squads off the field. So hopefully you'll kind of indulge me with a few general questions. It'll be interesting to see. We talked to Dean Brownlee a couple of years ago when we did a similar, around the provinces. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these similar questions are the same kind of names that pop up. But I think you guys have had a bit of a turnover, so maybe not. But look, let's start with the bowlers. We've kind of everyone knows what Neil Wagner is like during the games. He celebrates his wickets with the passion that everyone loves. Is it the same in the nets if he comes in and nicks you off?
Yeah, no, he's a little bit more, calmer in the nets. But no, he wears his sleeve on his heart. And yeah, just real competitor. But even in the nets, he's usually quite calm until you dry one. Then the next one is definitely, winning past your head. So, but no, he's pretty calm in the nets. Yeah.
Is there someone that as soon as you get indoors, all they do is just bowl bounces at you?
Yeah, there are a couple. No, I'm just kidding. Scott Kugelheim doesn't mind a bouncer, but he doesn't really mind what the surface is. Even when he lets them out in the outdoor surface, a green one, spicy one, he just lets them out, rips them down. But no, like most of the boys are pretty good, and yeah, there's no one that stands out.
How about the batter there must be a batter who turns up to the nets, rolls their arm over and thinks they're much better than they actually are?
That's definitely Joe Carter. He's been to India and he thinks he can bowl off spin now, and he's just trying to talk up this biggest game. But oh my God, hopefully bowls are over in the game and he gets absolutely smashed. Can't wait. It'll bring him right down.
My biggest pet hate in nets is everyone thinks that off spin's an easy art, but
absolutely, yeah.
There's a lot of skill involved. How about flipping it the other way around? Who's the bowler that just will not give their wicket away in the nets, determined to stay in?
Oh, I would say Joe Walker. He's our off spinner. He's quite a stubborn bloke, and really gets fired up if he makes a mistake, and he really puts a price on his wicket. And you can see that when he bats out in the actual games as well. He chews a lot of dot balls and scores a lot of 20s and 30s, and helps guys get hundreds, or pushes the totals out. So he's definitely a stubborn bugger.
And you mentioned preseason before. Who's been kind of winning all those preseason drills?
We've had two TS Stallions, Tiawa Muru Stallions. Christian Clark smashed all the running stuff, and this other fella, Zach Gibson, he's strong boy. He smashed out all the weight stuff. So there's something in that water in the Tiawa Muru, eh? No, keep producing them.
Nice. Who's the funniest teammate?
I would say Colin de Grandhomme. Obviously, you don't hear from him much on the media stuff, but in behind the scenes, he's an absolute gem. Yeah.
Brilliant. I wish we did get to see that in the media.
Oh, he doesn't hold back, I tell you that.
Awesome. Who's the grumpiest?
Grumpiest would probably have to be Anurag Verma. He's always juggling 4 different things and trying to, double dip here and there, and he's probably quadruple dipping somewhere, and always not enough hours in a day for him. And or Anurag, yeah.
And any weird superstitions going around the ND changing room?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Oh, yes, there is. Scott Kugelline. On the top of his mark, he does this, something like that, and puts his left foot right, left foot first, right foot, and then sort of goes back and forward. And it's quite hilarious, actually, when he doesn't get it right in the game. It's almost like he's lost, and it takes 5 minutes for him to regather what he's trying to do. And boys love it. It's absolutely hilarious. So, that superstition is awesome.
Brilliant. And which other provincial team do you guys like beating the most?
Oh, I mean, it'll be not all of them, but especially Canterbury. In Canterbury, I feel like this might have been a common answer, but just because they have been so strong, and just something about them that you want to beat them in their own backyard, and there's no better feeling.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh, we asked this question 2 years ago to everyone. Everyone gave Canterbury, and it's happening again this year.
Wow.
I just don't understand it. Someone who spent a long time down there.
It's a compliment. I'd say it must be a compliment, because it's something that they do really well,
Yeah.
So.
Brilliant. And your favourite ground in New Zealand to play at?
Basin Reserve. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. On a nice day. Which there are not many, but hey, when there is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, at least you don't have to run into it. Run into that wind. And look, your favourite sledge you've heard at domestic level?
Favorite sledge I've heard. I think someone was bowling, and they're sort of chirping a bit, and then they asked the bowler if they needed that long of a run up to bowl 120 k's per hour, which was a bit of an insult. I won't name the names, but
brilliant.
Yeah. So that was quite funny in the heat of the moment. Yeah.
It's always brave for a batter to sledge the bowler.
Yes. It's okay to sledge when they're bowling at 120. I tell you, it's not too bad. You don't want to sledge Lockie or Daisy or someone.
No, nice. And look, we'll finish with a couple of serious ones. As you sort of mentioned earlier, every club or every province wants to kind of win every trophy. But is there sort of specific goals for the season that you can share with us for the team?
No, look, obviously winning would be nice, but for us, it's sort of, we've seen in the last 6 months how the cricket has advanced in terms of the style of play, and especially the scoring rates have, increased in Test cricket and one-day cricket. And we want to try and sort of not to set the trend in New Zealand, because it is a trend, but try and not get too far behind in the game and make sure that we keep up and stay true to that kind of style that we want to play, and just be entertaining. And those sort of the very brief goals that we've set ourselves. There's nothing set in stone. It's more around the processes and efforts that we talk about that we can control. And those, I won't bore you with those things.
No, all good. And I mean, how about on a personal level? Are you someone who sets goals? Have you kind of got specific runs, targets in your mind, and those kind of things that you want to achieve?
Yeah, look, I would love to get just looking at 10,000 first-class runs. It'd be a good milestone for me personally, and then I want to try and get that average above 40. Especially as a top order batsman, there are not many in New Zealand that have done then over this many years. So it would be nice to have that sort of benchmark that drives me in terms of my personal goals, and keep evolving and keep improving my game in white ball stuff. And I know there's a lot of white ball cricket coming up next winter with the World Cup, ODI World Cup and stuff. And who knows where it can take you. So if you can put up some good numbers and, get on a bit of a roll, because there's always hope. I believe in that. So you never say never while you're playing, and so yeah.
Nice. And look, I should definitely let you go, Jeet. It's been a real pleasure catching up again after quite a long time and giving me some insight into the ND squad. So yeah, I mean, thanks again for joining us on the show and all the best for the upcoming season. Yeah, I hope you go really well.
Nah, cheers, Stu. Thanks, man.
And listeners of the show, look out for plenty more episodes coming up over the next few weeks and months. We've got players and coaches from all around the domestic circuit. We're kind of aiming to touch base with all 6 provinces. You'll see us chatting regularly about the T20 World Cup. We'll see more of our Hall of Fame series. We're down to the business end now, as we've got down to the top 10 in our best men's test cricketers of all time, according to Baldy's algorithm. And you'll find details about how to contact us in the episode show notes. We just absolutely love it, kind of hearing from people all around the world. So, yeah, if you could give us a like and a subscribe and share and all of that good stuff and, contact us, it'd be fantastic. So thanks for listening and we'll see you again soon.